I have a request from Tim Baker from the Burwood Pegasus Community Board, because you need to be away by 11, that you wanted to speak to the Burwood Pegasus Community Board. Tim, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yep.
So we're in your hands.
Thank you. Well, it's nice to be at this end. I've never sat here before, so about time I did.
Oh, well, you can come and try sitting up here if you like.
The draft New Brighton Master Plan is what I'm reporting on. Almost 2 years ago, Councillor East said to our community board, how about a draft master plan for New Brighton? And 18 months ago, consultation was done, and the council came back with a really good plan to start off with. So a lot of community consultation was done. Back at that time, there were 317 submissions made, and from them, 87 submitters signalled that they'd like to have a hearing. But remember, this was 18 months ago. In the meantime, a lot has happened in the east, and particularly around Brighton. There's now a New Brighton Business and Landowners Association. There's a New Brighton Community Advisory Group, revitalising the commercial centre. There's also the New Brighton Legacy Project, the new Eastern Recreation Sports Facility Project, and I just turned the page, and the new District Plan Review. So now, 18 months on, the Community Board at our meeting last time, it was recommended by staff that we have a hearing, but we feel that we don't need to, because in 18 months things have changed, and a lot of people different people have spoken to who wanted to make those submissions now don't wish to. And as a whole, we believe the plan is a good plan. Now, the other reason we don't want to have a hearing is because we want to get on and get it done for the next district plan. And there's two things that we particularly would like, and one is for RMF to be extended, and possibly looking at a bus shelter as well, depending on what happens with ECAN. So what we're recommending is that we don't have a hearing, and we just get on and get the draft plan undrafted. Any questions?
Thanks, Tim. Normally, to not have hearings, the signal would be that most people are in agreement with what's going on. Is it fair to say that that's what your opinion is?
Yes, it is, yeah. Yep.
Quite confident about that?
Very confident.
Okay.
I'm surprised the community board doesn't want to have hearings, and it's quite unusual for our staff to recommend hearings, although I know as a council we agreed to do hearings into the main road, Ferry Road master plan, and that's been a really useful process, just trying to work through some of the concerns that people have. So I'm really surprised that you're not recommending to have hearings. Have there been any hearings into any aspects of the draft plan? Because I'm just also mindful that in your ward there's a lot of groups like Māori and Pacifica that are much more oral cultures rather than written cultures. So it just seems to me that possibly you're missing an opportunity to engage with people.
I think you're right, we are missing an opportunity, but there's been massive consultation done already, and people that we've spoken to, some people we've spoken to individually, who were looking at making a submission 18 months ago, now say they don't wish to. So we're pretty confident. And when you look at the percentage, I think it was 83% of people 18 months ago were very happy with the draft plan. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be great.
Okay, so can we get on to the Burwood Pegasus Community Board, and David's going to move and Glenn's second, is that okay? And then we'll get on to that first clause. New Brighton Master Plan. With the recommendations, I was actually struggling with the recommendations. I'm assuming they're at the bottom of page 243. Yeah, that's what we're actually considering. So the board consideration and recommendation at the bottom of page 243. Do you want to speak? Dave, then Glenn.
Thank you, Vicky. I'd like to speak in support of this motion and to comment on a few things here. The board's recommendation is that we accept the attachments, and particularly attachment 4, which probably answers Yanni's question to a degree, that a lot of the answers to the submitters' questions and public feeling in the district is put out in attachment 4, and it does really sort of give the overall picture of where the community was sitting on this matter. As I said, I do support the adoption of this master plan, and I also support the decision to go forward without having a hearings panel. And I think it's probably pertinent to note that one of the major reasons for not having hearings at this stage is to not delay the process of adopting this master plan indefinitely, and it also allows the master plan or the community to actually submit and make applications to the long-term plan. And if we delay the process by having submissions, the opportunity to have items included in the long-term plan does dissipate substantially. In my term in local government, we have had potentially probably 3 master plans for New Brighton, and it is quite pertinent to note that they do have no statutory obligation. There's no budget attached to them. So in my view, it is important that we pass this plan today so that we can get budget attached to items that are identified in the master plan. The financial expectations of people in the New Brighton area are quite high. There is a strong feeling that other parts of Christchurch seemingly are being funded for a lot of projects, and New Brighton is not attracting a lot of money. You know, the process that we've adopted with the legacy project hasn't endeared too many in the district as well. And interestingly, I do note as part of the master plan process, one of the key parts is extending Aurum Ave through to Hawke Street. And I have had a communication from people in New Brighton that council are looking at buying the properties that would be associated in extending this the road, and apparently appear at this stage to be reluctant to buy one particular property, and probably looking at putting a kink in the road, which in my mind is not sending a good signal to this area that they're not prepared to invest in and purchase the properties and make the road as straight as possible. So having said all that, I think it's the opportunity is there now for the community in the eastern suburbs to get in behind this plan, make submissions to the long-term plan, and get items on the budget to actually get some projects underway in New Brighton. So I urge my fellow councillors to support the adoption of the New Brighton Master Plan as recommended. Thank you.
And Glenn, it will be the part without 7.14 is what you're suggesting, isn't it? That's why we've just struck lines through 7.14. So 7.11, 2 and 3 is what you're actually moving.
You agree with 2, you don't have...
Yes, that's right. Yeah, okay. So Glenn, you were next if you wanted to, and then Yanni.
Okay, just briefly, thank you. This took a lot to get to this point. It took 3 attempts in the previous council just to get a master plan for New Brighton out for consultation. So there is a real sense that we need to get on with it from the community, and the community board feels that definitely is the mood of the community to do that. Many of you will know about New Brighton's history. In the plan itself, you'll see the proposal to shrink or to make the kind of CBD, if you like, more compact. It expanded in its heyday when it had that monopoly with Saturday shopping. Then that was lost to everyone, but it forgot to contract. So we have to have some kind of intervention to make it work. In my view, we have a duty to our whole city, to our coastal communities. We can't have New Brighton looking as it is, so we need to do our part to revitalise it, and I wholeheartedly support this.
Okay, thank you. Yanni?
Thank you. Look, I'm happy to support the local community board. They're the ones that will have to deal with the community over having hearings or not having hearings. And I note that we're actually just enabling the consideration of these submissions to then come and formalise the draft plan. So we're not actually approving the draft plan today. We're actually just saying go away and bring it back to us, which is fine. The only concern I have is the issue of the road through the pedestrian mall, where there were more people against it, and it's a little bit unclear as to what's actually happening in the final master plan. So I'm not sure whether we're making a call today on that, but probably when the final plan comes back, that's an issue that I think staff just need to highlight exactly what the proposal is so that we can be really clear, because that is the one that more people were opposed than were in support of, and I think maybe we need to try and resolve that issue one way or another. But happy to go along with the community board. I do note there has been a lot of work done around this, many different fringe groups as well, or peripheral groups also holding workshops, talking to people, having community conversations. But I do think, that we do need to get this in place for the LTP, as with all our other master plans, and we do need a process to actually work out how we're going to fund these projects actually happening. So happy to support it.
Andrew?
I'm also happy to support the Community Board's recommendation. My natural instinct would be to give the community every possible opportunity to participate, and in particular noting that more than 25% of the submitters did wish to be heard. But I'm also aware of the amount of work that has gone into this, the high level of community participation altogether, and also the need for New Brighton to get on and for something positive to happen there. We went through exactly this same issue in Littleton with the Littleton Master Plan, and initially the Community Board's view was that hearings should occur. In the end, they didn't. That was the Council's decision, and we've ended up with a very successful set of outcomes from the Master Plan in Littleton without hearings, and people are very comfortable with that. So certainly happy to trust the Community Board and their relationship with their community, and from our own experience in Littleton, we've already seen this work successfully already, so I'll be supporting the Community Board recommendation today.
Paul?
Yes, I'll be supporting this today too. I mean, look, we've got some wonderful natural assets with it, and our natural asset here is our coastline. And looking at New Brighton over the last 15, 20 years, it has certainly needs some help, and it needs some intervention, as I think Councillor Livingston pointed out. It's not just New Brighton. I think the issue occurs right across our coastline, right through to Sumner, and I think we need to give certainty to these communities that we are actually taking some care, and we are wanting to assist them getting back on their feet and becoming a place that the whole city actually would like to go back to and actually enjoy. So I'll be supporting this today.
Good. Is there any other comments? So we have a resolution in front of us. I do apologise for lateness getting back from Wellington, but I'm also not very well today, so I apologise for that as well. The 7.1.4, it's been excluded, so I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. Carried. Thank you very much, Tim. It's good, good result. Cheers. And now I'm told that we go back to item number 6.